Kevin Steele retiring, and for the third straight year, Alabama will have a new defensive coordinator. We're going to talk about the possibilities to replace Kevin Steele. Let's talk about the AP Top 25. How is Georgia rated ahead of Alabama? We're going to talk about that, and a guy declaring for the NFL draft that we pretty much knew was going to do it, but it's official now. All that coming up right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Make sure you like and follow and give us a thumbs up and share and roll Tide. There's my tag team partner, Big Elmo. I'm Mick Gillispie, the Mick. And we're hanging out with you here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel at Broadcaster Mick, at Brett Elmore Show, talking some Crimson Tide. What is up, my friend?
Everything's well, Mick. Roll Tide to you. And, yeah, a couple of three really good topics today, including, of course, the buzz around the defensive coordinator's job, the final AP Top 25, and the question mark with where Alabama fell to. And then, of course, like you mentioned, an Alabama senior and leading running back finally making his intentions known.
Well, guys, pimp out your man cave like I've done to my studio with the work of Daniel Moore, newlifeart.com. Use the promo code Bama Tailgate. And I'm telling you, they got some great stuff going on over there. 4th and 31. We'll never forget the Gravedigger play that ended Auburn's game against Alabama in that Iron Bowl in dramatic fashion, a win for the Crimson Tide. But they got a lot of other great memories as far as some awesome prints and coffee mugs and calendars and all that really cool stuff. newlifeart.com. Use the code Bama Tailgate. All right, let's get into this, Brett. Let's talk about it. AL.com put out a story. They said 7 candidates who make sense for Alabama's defensive coordinator job. And I thought, well, hell, let's talk about that. First off, this is who I think is going to get it, so I'm just going to start there. They felt the same way on staff. Tavarius Robinson. His current position is Alabama's quarterback coach. You remember that it was Lane Kiffin that said that, he noticed the former South Carolina defensive coordinator was really having an impact on the Bama defense. He questioned Kevin Steele. Is this even Kevin Steele's defense? And then Alabama shut down that vaunted attack by the Rebels in the second half of the football game and sent Lane and his destructive language right back to Ole Miss. 1 of 2 losses this year for them, but a big win for Alabama. Everyone seems to feel like T-Rob, as he's called, is doing a great job. So I guess it starts there. What do you think?
Starts there. The players obviously like him, which is a good thing. And he has the experience, 5 years worth at South Carolina as the defensive coordinator in the SEC. So he has the experience. He's already there. The players like him. That's 3 check marks right there. I think it's probably his job to lose, I guess, or turn down.
Second candidate is another guy that's an analyst at Alabama, someone that did a really good job coaching defense over the years. And when we're talking about Charlie Strong, he'd be an easy pick. He's the former Louisville and Texas head coach. You remember that. He was also defensive coordinator at South Carolina and Florida. Hadn't had the success as a head coach, but he is a great coach and a very good possibility for Nick Saban to figure out a way to get this guy back as a coordinator, maybe.
Well, that's the good news. In Tuscaloosa, you have 2 great candidates already in-house and on staff. Look, I would be more than happy with T-Rob, but also Charlie Strong. I was excited when they brought him in as an analyst because I thought, man, this guy's going to bring a wealth of knowledge to the program. And you're right. He didn't have the success as a head coach. And we talked about that in previous shows. Some guys are just great coordinators, and then they just don't turn out to be really good head coaches, sort of like Kevin Steele. I mean,
Well,
he didn't have the success as a head coach, but he was a hell of a coordinator.
yeah.
And this is the same thing with Charlie Strong.
Yeah, so much of it is how you can recruit, what you inherit. Success is also based on your schedule. There's so many different things, but he is definitely a good coach and a great candidate. All right. Glenn Schumann, who we thought was going to be the defensive coordinator, or at least some of us did last year when they hired Kevin Steele, but he's the Georgia co-defensive coordinator. He may be on the radar for some other teams as well. And, one of the hottest names in coaching right now.
Well, anytime you can pluck one from, Georgia, that the way they've been playing, the program that they've had, obviously. He started his career at Alabama, but has been working with Kirby Smart there in Athens. And he would obviously be someone that would have the experience as far as being a co-defensive coordinator at Georgia, but trying to pry him away, I just don't see that happening.
All right, here's another guy, the former head coach at the University of Maryland, DJ Durkin. He was also the Michigan defensive coordinator in the past. He was with Jimbo Fisher as the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. Before that staff was let go, he was co-DC at Ole Miss. And he's been mentioned for jobs at Alabama in the past. He's a really good defensive mind and someone that Nick Saban could look to.
Yeah, that's a name I have not thought of. He does have a little bit of baggage. He got fired from Maryland over a very sad instance there, but
player died.
Yeah, I mean, sad, but that's a name I haven't thought of, but one that was mentioned by AL.com and the writer of this, Matt Stahl.
And then how about this? Former Mississippi State head coach, Zach Arnett. Now, he didn't have success as a head coach. He took over after the death of Mike Leach, but he was the defensive coordinator. He took over for Leach and then quickly, and probably not such a great idea, he dismantled the offense that Leach was known for and then tried to go with more of a pro set. Things didn't go well, and he was fired this year. But he's still a great defensive coach and someone that, Alabama and Nick Saban could revitalize, or maybe he just ends up on the staff. But this is someone that, if Nick Saban likes, has had success as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he may be more of a candidate for an analyst position. I don't know. He got thrown into a terrible situation after Leach died. But yeah, you're right. After trying to dismantle the offense that Leach had in place, just didn't have the success there at Mississippi State. But yeah, I mean, he could land the job, but I'm more apt to. He's on down the list, I would think.
Charles Kelly. Kelly left Alabama before the 2022 season, right? He went to Colorado and became their defensive coordinator, but then he broke out of there and went to Auburn recently. Maybe he's the Tigers' next defensive coordinator because they're also looking for a DC, but he can recruit. It was kind of shocking that he left Colorado because that was one of Coach Prime's big gets as far as assistant coaches. Charles Kelly.
Yeah, isn't it amazing the exodus that Prime has had there at Colorado? He's had quite the exodus there. But Kelly, an interesting name brought up in the article, and we'll see. But like I say, I don't see that happening. I'm still leaning toward the first two of Charlie Strong, and I think they'll hire in house. But this is always good fodder for talking heads like us to talk about.
Yeah. And then Jim Leonhard from Illinois. Don't know much about him, but defensive coordinator, interim head coach at Wisconsin. he's someone that you've heard his name bounce around as a potential head coach even at times, but he's been an analyst under Brett Bielema, the former Arkansas coach, now at Illinois, and they say he's a possibility as well.
I still think, and I'm going to throw this name out there, I still think Jesse Minter from Michigan, if Harbaugh leaves for the pros, the guy is 40, and he would be someone that you would want to look at pretty hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, the easy answer would be that you go with T-Rob, who's done a great job. But we'll see. Nick Saban is going to try to have the same success that the defense had this year. They were physical. They obviously made incredible second half adjustments, which was insane. And I'm guessing that Kevin Steele, and we talked about this, 44 years in coaching, third stint at Alabama, will probably be around in some capacity until he gets his retirement, and maybe he wants to even stick around. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens there, but it's not like he's being forced out for not having success. The defense had success this year. I thought they were way better than they had been in the past. But obviously it's kind of one of those situations where, he's at that point in life, maybe where he's kind of saying, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind going and seeing his son, Gordon, who coaches down at South Alabama. Maybe he's got some other things that he wants to do as well.
Sure.
So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, Brett, here we go. This is the top 25 and, the AP top 25 and the coaches poll. And these are the final ones, right? So Michigan, number 1, Washington, number 2. The coaches poll has Georgia, number 3, Texas, number 4, and Bama, number 5. The AP has Texas, number 3, Georgia, number 4, and Alabama, number 5. What do you think about that?
We don't get any respect.
That's what I think too. they were going to put us at 5 this year, no matter what. Hey, didn't we watch Alabama lose in overtime to the defending champs and Washington get just skull dragged all over the place in that football game?
I believe that's the game I watched.
Did we watch Alabama beat Georgia, or was that just my imagination?
I think I was watching that same game too, I think. Sports Illustrated had the headline today, final AP top 25 poll stunningly drops Alabama to number 5. And it says the Crimson Tide falls behind team it beat an SEC championship game, Georgia, after losing in overtime to eventual national champion Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Yeah, no respect, but what does it matter anyway?
I guess you're not winning it.
But I tell you what, it is great bulletin board material for one Nick Saban.
Yeah, I just don't get it. These writers, and I mean even the coaches. I feel like they just didn't buy into this football team. And you're talking about the SEC champs, and you're also talking about a team that made a lot of mistakes, but still had the lead in the fourth quarter over Michigan with like 3 minutes left, and then lost in overtime. Washington, I know they only lost one game, but it was not the same result that we saw. Texas lost to that team that got blown out, in the national championship game. I just feel like this is what they thought of Alabama this year. And you're right. Maybe this is bulletin board material. I thought they were, I guess the losses matter, but to me, they were the second best team. They were the team that ended up, barely losing to the eventual national champs. But now I'm sure they're going, well, Texas beat Alabama. That was week 2. And, whatever. I mean, and Georgia's 3, and I get that too, but the fact is that Alabama beat them. So for some reason, Texas beating Alabama is more important than Alabama beating Georgia.
Right. And it, like we mentioned the other yesterday, I think it was, Rose Bowl was a national championship game, and man, it hurt me so bad today. I was at the office, and I thought, man, we were just so close to winning another national
Yeah,
championship.
right.
It was
Yep.
like that pain was in your gut all over again, just thinking, man, we were that close. But oh well, good bulletin board material. The AP Top 25. We appreciate that, and we'll hang that up in the locker room for the guys to use as motivation.
All right, final thing. We talked about it. Jace McClellan has declared for the NFL draft, the running back, not going to Ole Miss, not in the transfer portal. We knew that. We thought maybe he could come back, but he's going to the NFL, and I would not be surprised if he doesn't go and get on the right team and have a good career.
That's right, and we saw it coming, obviously, and we kind of knew this was going to happen, but he made it official, and we wish him the best of luck. I think he'll do great in the NFL. I really do.
Awesome. Well, Brett, thanks for hanging out. A lot of fun. Don't forget, Bama Tailgate is the promo code at newlifeart.com. I want to remind you guys that right now is a great time to go over to Pearl River Resort, make your picks count. They also have Ron White, the comedian, and the Wallflowers coming. They've got the Vegas-style sports book where you can go an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Birmingham. Anytime, go over there and play the odds. And on top of it all, they've got the table games. They've got the slots. They've also got Dancing Rabbit, the Augusta you can play, that golf course, which is really amazing. Check it out for yourself at Pearl River Resort. And don't forget that we're also presented by Modern Lending with our friend Chad Anderson. 10,000 plus families helped get into new homes. And you can count on Chad to help you get there. He's an investment consultant, an Airbnb expert. He also answers the phone when you call. That's his number right there at This Chad Is Real on the socials. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We will talk to you again tomorrow unless something breaks right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Roll Tide.